We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're in the first part of this project called Taking Your Company Green. The first task wants us to go ahead and change the size of our slides in this presentation. To do that, we'll go to the Design tab here at the top. We're in the Customize group. We want to go ahead and click Slide Size dropdown, and we're going to select Custom Slide Size. In the Slide Size for, we're going to click that dropdown, and what we want to select is Ledger Paper. We'll go ahead and click OK. And it tells us to go ahead and ensure fit, so we'll select that. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go to the master slide view and make some changes. So we're going to go to the View tab here at the top. In our Masters Views group, we're going to select Slide Master. We're going to go ahead and slide to the top of this view because what we want to do is begin here on the Slide Master, the main Slide Master. And it tells us here that it wants us to display the current date on all slides except our title slide. To do that, we'll go to the Insert tab here at the top. We're going to go to the text group. We'll select Header and Footer. Include on slide. We'll go ahead and select Date and Time. And what we want to do is also check this box that says Don't Show on Title Slide. And we'll click Apply to All. The next part of this task wants us to go ahead and make some changes to the text style and size. So we're going to go ahead and select our first line here. And on my computer, it's very hard to see. It might be on yours as well, but I have that title selected. Now we're going to go to the Home tab, and it tells us to go ahead and change this font type. So we're going to go ahead and look for it. And then we're going to change the font size to 36. The next part of this task wants us to go ahead and select the first level. And what we're going to do is change this also. It says Century Gothic Body. And for me, it was already done. And it also already has the size for me, so we'll leave that the same. We'll go to the second level here. It tells us it's the same font, which is already selected, but we need to change the font size. So we'll go ahead and click in there, and we'll go ahead and type in 22 and hit enter. And then the last part of this step wants us to go to the title slide layout, which is not the slide that we're on now. It's the second one. If you're not sure what master slide you're editing, make sure you hover over it before you select it. If you look next to my cursor, it says title slide layout. So that's where we want to make these changes. It tells us to go ahead and select our title here. We want to make sure that the font is the same, and it is. This time we're going to go ahead and change this size to 54. Type that in and hit enter. And it tells us that our subtitle needs to be Century Gothic, which it is, and we just need to change the font size to 18. We'll go ahead and check that we completed this task, and we're going to go to the Slide Master tab here at the top and close out of it. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on slide 2 of this project. The first task wants us to go ahead and insert a slide. We're going to do it from outline, and it says it wants it after the title slide. We're on the title slide. We're going to go to the slides group on the Home tab. We're going to select New Slide. Slides from outline. We'll go ahead and click. We'll go ahead and map to our GMetrix templates folder, and we want to go ahead and select the file Why Go Green. We'll go ahead and click Insert. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to change the bullets on slide 2 to star bullets. So what we'll do is, there are a few ways to do this. Now that we're in our text box, we'll go ahead and select the text. We'll go to the paragraph group. We're on the Home tab. We'll click the star drop down here. And it wants us to go ahead and select the stars. If you're not sure, make sure you hover before you select. We'll go ahead and select that. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on slide 3 of the project. This task wants us to go ahead and change the subheading on slide 3. We're still on slide 2, so we'll go ahead and select slide 3. So we're going to change the subheading on the right to how much it saves. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and select the bullets in the left text box. We're going to decrease the bullet level. So we can do Shift Tab or click this button here. And it wants us to make sure that the font size is 20, and it is. So we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and create a clustered column chart in the right content box over here. So with our cursor here in this box, we want to go to the Insert tab here at the top. We're going to go to the Illustrations group and select Chart. It tells us clustered column chart. So that's the first one here in the column section. We'll click OK. We're going to go ahead and in this little Excel box, we're going to go ahead and type in Series 1, how much it cost. And for Series 2, we'll type how much you save. We're going to go ahead and continue filling out this Excel sheet. But here are my instructions. I don't actually see everything that I need to type. I'm going to go ahead and scroll over the instructions, and I'm going to begin typing this information. What we want to do is put our cursor here in the bottom right-hand corner of this information and see how my cursor changed. I want to go ahead and click and drag to the right to exclude the Series 3 data that was already in there. And so now it has just this information. Let me go ahead and caution you. This is a step that you could have easily typed something in wrong, whether it be a capital letter, a number that you typed in wrong. Just be careful because this is a step you could get wrong just because you typed the wrong number or word. We'll go ahead and close out of this. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. This task wants us to apply a style to our clustered column chart. So we're going to go ahead and have this chart selected. On the Chart Tools Design tab, we're in the Chart Styles group. And what we're looking for here is Style 8. If you're not sure, make sure you hover before you select. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. For some reason, my computer's having an issue showing that style, but it does show here on the thumbnail of our slide that it has been applied, that style. So we'll just keep working through this. This task wants us to go ahead and change the layout, and we're going to add a chart title, cost savings. So let's go ahead and change our layout. With the chart selected, we're on the Chart Tools Design tab. We're in the Charts Layout group. We're going to go ahead and select Quick Layout, and what we're looking for is Layout 1. We'll go ahead and click that. We're going to go ahead and change the title. On my screen, it's hard to see, but we're going to go ahead and type the title here. And we'll go ahead and click out of that box just to set our text. We'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. I did want to show you that before I move on, that my computer was having an issue showing the styles that we applied. And so I went ahead and saved the project and came back in just to show you that it did apply the changes that we made. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on the part of the project called Slide 4. We'll go ahead and select the fourth slide as we begin. Task 1 wants us to go ahead and add a shape below the list on the left side of the slide. We're going to select the speech bubble rectangle with rounded corners. So what we want to do is, now that we're on the fourth slide, we'll go ahead and click the Insert tab here at the top. We're in the Illustrations group. We want to go ahead and select Shapes. We're looking in the Callout section. It says speech bubble rectangular with rounded corners. This is it. So we'll go ahead and select that, and we'll go ahead and just click here because we're going to make some changes to it. With this selected, we have the Drawing Tools Format tab here at the top. We want to go ahead and change the height to 1.56. We'll hit Enter to set that. And then we're also going to change the width here to 3.04. We'll hit Enter when we're done typing that. It wants us to go ahead and apply the Intense Effect, Olive Green Accent 4. So with this shape selected, we're in the Shape Styles group. We're going to go ahead and click the More drop down here. And what we're looking for is Intense Effect, Green Accent 4. Make sure you hover until you find it. We'll go ahead and select that. And then we're going to go ahead and add the text, Going Green Helps Everybody. What we can do is just double click in this shape, and it's faint, but you can see my I-beam flashing in there. Go ahead and type the exclamation mark on this because it's part of our quotation. And then what we want to do is just click out of the shape. We'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. This task wants us to go ahead and add an image into our Write Content box. So we'll put our cursor in here. And if you look here very faintly, you can see some icons. What we want to go ahead and select is this one, Pictures. We'll map to our GMetrix Templates folder, and we'll select Energy Star. We'll go ahead and insert this image. It tells us to apply a style to this, the Reflective Perspective Right. So with this image selected, we'll go to the Picture Tools Format tab here at the top. We're in the Picture Styles group. We want to click the More drop down. We'll select Reflective Perspective Right. We also need to add alt text to this image. There are a few ways to do this. You can right click, or you can go to the alt text here at the top. This update has changed a little bit. Normally you have a title and a description here, but we don't have that option. We'll go ahead and type in this box, Energy Star, and we'll close out of this box. We'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on the part of the project called Slide 5. Now, normally I would go ahead and click in this slide to begin, but because we're going to reuse some slides, we actually want to be on Slide 4 so that we will begin on the 5th slide. With Slide 4 selected, we're going to go to the Home tab here at the top. We're in the Slides group. We want to go ahead and click the New Slide dropdown. We're going to reuse slides. We're going to go ahead and click the Browse button here and map to our GMetrix templates folder. We want to go ahead and select Going Green. It tells us that we only want to use slide 2 here, so we're going to go ahead and click this one. Just one click will do, and we're going to close out of this. It tells us to go ahead and resize the table here. So I'm going to put my cursor here, and I'm going to select the outside edge of this table just to make sure I have the entire table selected. With that, we have the Table Tools Layout tab at the top, and it tells us to change the width to 9.5. So we'll go ahead and type in here. We'll select Enter, and we'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and modify this table. It's going to have us do that by adding a row below. Now, I'll be honest, the instruction set on this is not very clear, and it can be easy to get confused on this. But we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in the last row. We're on the Table Tools Layout tab. What we're going to do is in the rows and columns groups, click Insert Below. It tells us some text that we're going to need to type for immediately and near future. It tells us to go ahead and also change the style of this table. With our cursor here in the table, we can go to the Design tab here at the top. We're in the Table Styles group. We'll click the More drop down here. It tells us it's a medium, so we're going to go ahead and look in here. Select Medium Style 2 Accent 5. And we'll check that we completed this task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on the part of the project called Slide 6. We're going to go ahead and keep our cursor here on the 5th slide, because we're going to go ahead and insert a new slide from Outline. So with our cursor here on Slide 5, we're going to go to the Home tab here at the top, and the Slides group will select New Slide dropdown, and we'll select Slides from Outline. We'll map to our GMetrix templates folder, and we'll go ahead and select the file called Philosophy. We'll insert. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and change the layout of this slide. We're on Slide 6. We're on the Home tab in the Slides group. We want to go ahead and select Layout. And what we're looking for is Content with Caption. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and insert a video in the right content box. We'll put our cursor in here, and it's faint, but if you look closely here, you have a little video icon. We'll go ahead and click that. We'll go ahead and select Browse. Make sure to map to your GMetrix templates folder. And in this folder, you should see a file called Green. We'll go ahead and insert that, and we'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. This task is going to have us make some changes to the video. So with the video selected, we're on the Video Tools Playback tab. The first thing it wants us to do is have it start automatically. So we're in the Video Options group, and Start, we want to click this and select automatically. It's also going to have us loop until stopped. So we'll go ahead and check that. And then the other thing it wants us to do is to apply a style. So we'll click Format. We're in the Video Styles group, and what we're looking for is Center Shadow Rectangle. So we'll go ahead and select that. And we'll check that we completed that task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're on the part of the project called Slide 7. So we're going to begin on the 7th slide. What it wants us to do on this task is to go ahead and make some changes to the smart art. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here by clicking. With that selected, we have the Smart Art Tools Design tab here at the top. The first thing it wants us to do is to go ahead and change the color in the Smart Art. So we're in the Smart Art Styles group. We're in the Change Colors. We're looking for Colored Filled. Accent 4. We'll go ahead and select this. The next thing it wants us to do is to add a third circle. So to do that, there are a few ways to do this, but the easiest way is to probably click this text pane pop out. And we'll put our cursor here at the last bullet and then hit enter. And then we'll go ahead and type a better world. Make sure you capitalize all the words. It tells us to go ahead and change the size of the Smart Art, both the height and the width. We'll close out of this text pane here. What I want to do is just make sure that I don't have any individual element selected before I make these changes. So we'll put our cursor here and click. And then we're going to go to the Smart Art Tools Format tab, and we'll go ahead and make these changes. And the final thing it wants us to do is to go ahead and apply the bird's eye scene. So we'll go back to the Design tab here at the top. And in the Smart Art Styles group, we'll click this drop down. And we'll go ahead and select Bird Eye Scene. And we'll go ahead and check that we completed the task. We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Project Review 1. We're in the part of the project called Final Steps. The first thing it wants us to do is to add transitions to all slides called Wind. So there are a few ways to do this. I normally just select a slide here in the slide view pane. And I'm going to go ahead and on my keyboard hit Control A to select all of the slides. Notice that orange border around all of my slides. Now I'm going to go to the Transition tab here at the top. We're in the Transition to this slide. We'll go ahead and click the More drop down just to see everything. And we're going to go ahead and select Wind. Had you not selected all of the slides over here, you could have in the timing group click Apply to All. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. This task wants us to go ahead and apply some animations to our different slides. We'll begin on slide 7. It tells us to apply the float in animation. So we'll go ahead and select this text box here. We'll go to the Animation tab. And what we want is float in. So we'll go ahead and select that. It also wants us to apply an animation to the Smart Art here. It tells us the shape. So we'll go ahead and click the More drop down here. We'll select Shape. We want to go ahead and in this section, the timing group, click not on start, but after previous. And it tells us to delay the start by 1 second. And then it wants us to go to the fourth slide. And in our left content box and callout, we need to go ahead and select both. So we'll put our cursor here and I'm going to hold the Shift key on my keyboard and also select the text box. It tells us to apply the fade animation. It tells us that our callout needs to be first. And it is here. It says 1. And then it goes here 1 through the different bullet points. If yours does not say 1 here and you need to change your order, you want to go to the Advanced Animation group, click Animation Pane. And it's as simple as just clicking and dragging through here. Or you can select one and just click the arrow key until it's where you want it to be. We'll go ahead and check that we completed this task. This task wants us to go ahead and make some option changes to the document. So we'll click File to get to the Backstage view. We'll select Options. We'll go to the Advanced section. We'll scroll down to Print. And what we want to do is check this box that says Print True Type Fonts as Graphics. It also wants us to have the print settings changed to grayscale. So when printing this document, we'll go ahead and click this here. And what we want to do is in color, grayscale, we want to go ahead and select grayscale. We'll go ahead and click OK. And we'll check that that was completed. This task wants us to go ahead and change some of our slideshow settings. So we'll go to the slideshow tab here at the top. We'll go ahead and select Set Up Slideshow. We want to go ahead in the show type, select Presented by a Speaker. It tells us that this is going to loop continuously until the escape button is keyed. In the advanced slides, we want to go ahead and select manually, and we'll click OK. We'll go ahead and check that that is complete. And then this task wants us to go ahead and show the grid lines within this document. So we'll go to the View tab here at the top. In the show group, we just want to go ahead and select grid lines. And it's faint, but you can see little dotted lines throughout the slide. We'll go ahead and check that we completed this task.